Hello, hello. Welcome once again to another edition of Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven. I'm joined by the person who can believe that a donut can fry. That's Chris Hall over
How's
there.
everybody doing tonight?
And, well, people have been demanding for months that we review this film. And even you, after you watched the film yourself, you got to see this film. You're going to love this film. And even up to last week, I said, I don't know. I think I'm going to hate this film. And you're like, nah, you're going to love it. Trust me. And I'm like, well, I bet I give a Raven rant. Well, we're going to see how it turns out. Okay, folks? Let's see what happens. Go ahead, Chris.
All right, this is Superman 2025, written and directed by James Gunn, based on characters from DC, produced by Peter Safran and James Gunn, starring David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult, Eddie Gathegi, Anthony Kerrigan, Nathan Fillion, and Isabella Merced.
Yes.
Production companies, DC Studios and Troll Court. Entertainment, the Safran Company, Domain Entertainment, distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures. Release date is July 11th, 2025. With a running time of 2 hours and 9 minutes, with a budget of $225 million and a box office of $616.7 million. What it's about. We start with 300 or 3,000 years ago. Blah, blah, blah. Text about superheroes and gods in the universe. 30 years ago, a small baby alien was sent to Earth, yada, yada, yada. 3 years ago, he revealed himself as Superman. 3 weeks ago, Superman stops the nation of Baravia from invading the neighboring country of Yarnpur, and warns Baravian president Vasil Gurkos to leave Yarnpur alone 3 minutes ago. In Metropolis, Superman is defeated for the first time by a metahuman called the Hammer of Baravia, and flees, crash lands conveniently near his fortress of Solitude in Antarctica. With the help of the superpowered dog Crypto, they are followed by Angela Spica, / the Engineer, an ally of tech billionaire Lex Luthor. Superman's kryptonite robots use concentrated solar radiation to heal him of his wounds and comfort Superman with a message from his birth parents, Jor-El and Lara Lorvan, my goodness, who sent him to Earth to save him from the destruction of their planet Krypton. Oh, don't worry.
It gets better.
At least it wasn't another origin story. So the message was damaged during the journey, so only the first half can be played. Superman returns to Metropolis and is again beaten by the Hammer, who is secretly Luthor's metahuman Ultraman, who is not Ultraman
nor Bizarro, but we'll get to that shortly.
Superman agrees to be interviewed by Lois Lane, his girlfriend and reporter colleague at the Daily Planet, leading to an argument when Lois presses him on the legal and ethical implications of his actions in Baravia. Meanwhile, Luthor unleashes a kaiju.
Literally the only thing that our colleague John Norris would have liked in this movie, as the kaiju is basically Disney's Stitch with a different color scheme.
On Metropolis as a distraction while he infiltrates the fortress with Ultraman and the Engineer. They overpower the robots, capture Crypto, and discover the Kryptonian message. The Engineer restores the damaged portion. Superman rescues civilians while fighting the kaiju with the Justice Gang, a team composed of heroes Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, and Hawkgirl. Despite Superman's wanting to take the creature alive, Mr. Terrific kills it. Luthor broadcasts the Kryptonian message, and Superman is shocked to hear the second half, in which his parents urge him to conquer Earth and take many wives to restore the Kryptonian race.
It's yours, Chris.
Oh, is that a disturbance in the force I feel? Uh-oh, yep, I can feel it. That shift in the air. Do I smell ozone? Something's not right. Public opinion, of course, turns against Superman, especially when he angrily confronts Luthor, looking for Crypto. Give me where the dog is, Lex! Where's the frickin' dog? Lois reassures Superman that she believes he is good, and he confesses his love for her before surrendering himself to the U.S. government. They hand him over to Luthor for detainment and questioning inside an artificial pocket universe where Luthor secretly holds his enemies, including Crypto. Superman is imprisoned with the metahuman Metamorpho. Luthor uses Metamorpho's infant son Joey as leverage to force him to transmute one of his hands into kryptonite, rendering Superman powerless and dying from kryptonite poison. During questioning, Luthor murders one of Superman's supporters, Molly. A horrified Metamorpho agrees to help Superman escape, and they free Joey and Crypto. Lois convinces Mr. Terrific to help find Superman, and they enter the Pocket Universe, rescuing the others. Lois takes Superman to recuperate with his adoptive parents, Jonathan and Martha Kent. Jonathan tells the demoralized Superman that his choices and actions determine who he is, not the message from his birth parents, and how proud he is of his adopted son.
Aw, isn't that sweet? So sickening, even Ma Kent has to come out and call it mush.
Luthor's girlfriend, Eve Tessmacher, is infatuated with the Daily Planet's photographer, Jimmy Olsen.
Because all women find dorky-ass photographers hot in the comics multiverse, see Peter Parker.
Absolutely. Provides the latter with evidence that Luthor is aiding Baravia in return for half of Yarhanpur's territory. Luthor imprisons her and lures Superman back to Metropolis by opening an unstable portal to the Pocket Universe, creating a rift in reality that splits the city in half. Superman sends Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, and Metamorpho to stop Baravia from invading Yarhanpur again. Hawkgirl kills Gurgos, and Green Lantern invites Metamorpho to join the Justice Gang in Metropolis. Superman and Mr. Terrific fight the Engineer and Ultraman. After Superman defeats the Engineer, he learns that Ultraman is a clone of himself created by Lex Luthor.
Which runs more in alignment with Byrne's version of Bizarro, but Gunn doesn't go there. Explanation forthcoming.
With Crypto's help, Superman defeats Ultraman and knocks him into a black hole beneath the rift. Then the duo crash Luthor's headquarters, and Mr. Terrific closes the rift. Luthor says he orchestrated the Yarhanpur conflict as an excuse to implicate Superman, driven by envy of his public admiration despite being an alien. Superman challenges his ideology, explaining his personal worldview is all about humanity. But Luthor remains defiant and gets subdued by Crypto. Crypto smash!
Yeah.
In the meantime, Lois and Jimmy expose Luthor's schemes to the public, clearing Superman's name. Luthor and his associates are arrested, and those trapped in his pocket universe, including Eve, are freed. Lois confesses that she loves Clark too.
And Perry White comments about how the two of them are fooling nobody about the relationship, and Jimmy confirms that it's been at least 3 months. So basically, you're saying everybody knows who Superman is, how he supposedly fools people with a secret identity. It's all ridiculously fan nerd. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
As Superman recovers at the fortress, his cousin Kara Zor-El drunkenly arrives to pick up Crypto. As she leaves with the dog, Clark comments to the robot Gary, how she likes to leave the planet and go get drunk on other planets, red suns or otherwise places where she doesn't have powers. The robot makes some non-memorable remark in return, and the rest of the crew comforts Superman with footage of his childhood on Earth with Ma and Pa Kent. There were 2 mid-credit / post-credit scenes. The one with Crypto was decent. The one with Mr. Terrific was idiotic. And the Raven doesn't care to describe them any further than that. Yeah, almost afraid to go first. I feel like I'm kind of being set up here to be sent to a black hole of Raven's rant after this. I wish there was some Ravenite or something to stop the dread I feel coming on. He warned us last week that he was going to hate this, and I didn't believe him. So for the love of God, somebody help me.
Somebody save Chris before Raven takes a piss all over this. Anyway, go ahead.
All right. Anyway, I thought this was a really fun movie that captures a lot of the tone of what Superman is supposed to be. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but respects the source material. The dog Crypto is really fun. The performances by Corn Sweat and Holt were both really good. Fillion was funny enough as Guy Gardner. And I thought the other cast was mostly out reasonably well done. I liked the fortress design and how it buries itself in the snow. I liked Gary, and the rest of the robots. They had a very classic retro design about them. I think it was, it was a light, fun, energetic film. I especially like the Easter egg scenes where Justice Gang are fighting in the background and Lois and Clark are having a talk, and he says, just a interdimensional imp, to me at least, implying that Mr. Micklepitalik might, be in future movies to come. So it just, had that Silver Age wacky sense about it, sort of 1980s, 1990s stuff. There's a lot of things here that could also lead to like an all-star Superman movie adaptation. Tell me you aren't going to derisively laugh and call me a fool, oh feathered fiend of comics.
No. I'm not going to call you. I'm not going to mock you. I'm not going to call you a fool. But I did warn you all last week that I was expecting to hate this film. And I did warn you that the Raven Rant was coming. But before I get to that, there are some good qualities to this film. The costuming was actually better than I expected. David Cornswet did a decent enough job with what he was asked to do. I didn't have a problem with him in the role. Nicholas Hoult did respectable Luthor, though I will always say of the modern Luthors, Michael Rosenbaum is the best. I do think Hoult would actually give him a run for his money. I do think that you're probably correct that Gunn was trying to set up things like All-Star Superman and maybe Tom King's Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which we'll see more in the Supergirl film that's forthcoming. The problem is, I was never a fan of those comics either. So it's sort of a losing proposition out of the gate with me, I hate to say. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you or anybody else watches this video that you're a fool or an idiot if you happen to enjoy this film. There are some sorts of elements that people should like about this movie. The movie would be completely ass without Krypto and his antics, for example. Problem for me is I don't really like Krypto and never have and couldn't care less. And I really, really don't like that the digital dog breed Gunn came up with was after his own dog, when the dog clearly should have been a white Labrador or a spotless Dalmatian, which is how the dog has been depicted for decades in the comics. But I'm not going to say that they didn't make a good use of the character within the context of the film. And without the dog, frankly, a lot of the earnestness and Silver Age humor that's in the movie, you need the dog for. So the stuff that people really liked about the film really tied to the dog, and so you got to have the dog in the film.
I think Krypto carried the movie.
Yeah, I do. I agree with you. But I got to say, yes, I absolutely hated this movie. Kryptonite criticism, locked and loaded. In bright neon green, aiming for the heart, kill the little kitties' minds and hearts. Raven Rant mode engaged. This story was absolutely atrocious. The plot made no sense. The introduction to having Clark crash first thing, at least show some of the damn fight where he gets his ass kicked. At least, give me something, not just, like, oh, we're in the beginning of Empire Strikes Back, and it's a poof into the snow. Yeah. Especially when you already showed us that in the trailer.
Right.
Just give us something before that. Not, what was it? 3,000 years ago, mysterious gods and blah, blah, blah. All that stuff, text before that. I was like, what the hell is this? I thought I was watching a documentary at first. I was like, did I get the right film on? Anyway, and then the clone of Superman is not Ultraman. It's Bizarro, as per how John Byrne developed it in the Man of Steel and Superman comics in the 80s. And I would have preferred that the character be referred to as Bizarro, which would have made more sense for it to be Ultraman. Would have been if he was the Superman from a pocket universe where Krypton was never destroyed, an alternate reality. But they never had the superhuman powers because they didn't get the yellow sun exposure. And Luthor and Engineer use him. She puts an nanite bomb in his head to do their bidding and bring him here to see what his counterparts self, and then you get the duplicate powers. because he's still Kryptonian.
Right.
That would have been Ultraman to me. But this, I don't know. But speaking of that pocket universe and the whole black hole, when you bring a black hole into the universe, you don't get a reality fissure splitting the world. What you get is a black hole in the center of the Earth's core, and the whole damn planet implodes in like about 30 seconds. That's just how that particular science works. That's why the hell Mr. Terrific is having a connection fit when he realizes that's what Lex did in the first place. When you play with science, please understand how it's supposed to work, writers. The whole brains versus brawn nonsense was one of the weakest parts of the Lex versus Superman conflict. Having Ultrazaro be effectively brainless and listening to Lex's team calling out strike codes was completely asinine. Clark's alien brain can think 20 times faster than the fastest Earth computers in existence. He's not going to get his ass handed to him by people calling out number letter code strikes. A22, Q16, kick him in the balls, that'll be really keen. Which, if you remember, he takes a groin shot in the middle of the fight. They actually did that. Oh, my God. I realize that it's Gunn trying to claim that Lex is thinking like a 3D chess player, like a Star Trek chess player, and that Clark thinks at the level of checkers. Sorry, but no. It's firmly established in the canon of the comics that Clark's actually fucking smarter than Lex, both technically and emotionally intelligent, versus Lex's limited mind that could be brilliant if he wasn't so self-obsessed and jealous of Superman's popularity. As if Lex had turned his own brilliance to serving the benefit of all mankind, he would be just as much of a treasure by humanity and just as beloved. But Gunn doesn't point that out. He focuses on this whole thing about alien, you're not from here, you're an alien, and play with the whole nonsense of society's anxieties and hatred, which I think we've seen more than enough of in superhero films and in films in general. If you want to really go play back to the classic homage, I mean, yes, I'll grant you that is what Luthor's thing is, but it could have been done better, I guess is what I'm saying. Now, they did what they should have done was almost what they did with Mr. Terrific. And they failed to put Terrific against Lex. Terrific is the ideal, and in many ways, Terrific is also smarter than Lex, as evidenced when he cracks the code to shut down the dimensional rift in about 2 minutes once he's actually at the control panel to do it. That scene, I would have loved to have watched Terrific verbally rip the shit out of Lex and punch him in the damn mouth instead of the dog whipping him around, because we've already seen enough of Crypto, in the film. Then sit down to fix everything. But instead, they made him the butt of multiple jokes throughout the movie, especially at the end credit scene, which really kind of irked me. And the thing I hated the most was the plot point of the idea that Jor-El and Lara Lorvan sent Clark to Earth to dominate and repopulate the planet. That was crap. And stuff that clearly was shit that Lex made up. But they're all like, oh no, we had 28 linguists and all these other people. Check it out. It's legit. Bite me. I've personally got a fucking degree in linguistics, people. Do you have any idea how many words just in the English language mean different things, even in this, used and just based solely on regional use? For an instance, the word fag is slang for both gay men and for a cigarette. Depends on what part of the country or what part of the world you're from and what you're using it in what context. So how the hell are you going to tell me that you know the meaning and contextual flavor of a totally alien language with a culture completely different from that of Earth is going to be translated that fucking quickly, number one? And how are you going to be able to interpret it by human culture, which is dynamically different from Kryptonian culture? The answer is you're not. It's all fake shit that Luthor made up. Play it like it is. And Gunn could say, well, I was trying to say it was Clark's human raising and culture that makes him weird. Yes, sure, fine, I agree. But don't bullshit things. Jor-El was not and is not Zod or the warmongering side of the Kryptonian culture, which they did have a war culture, some of them. That's part of why they went into the Phantom Zone, remember. But Jor-El should never be represented in that manner, unless you're going to reveal that was a ruse, which they really didn't do. They always played it up as this is legit. This is what he was sent here to do. That was worse than anything that Snyder did in his films, in my opinion. And I could go on more, but I could really go on for hours ripping this thing apart, but I'm not going to. Again, I'm not saying you can't or you shouldn't enjoy this film. I'm saying I didn't enjoy this film. Okay? Is that enough of a rant, Chris?
That's fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't care for the Jor-El, go forth and rape and impregnate women, thing either. I just always assumed that regardless of Mr. Fantastic's
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific's his whole rant. I just assumed that it was still part of Lex's bullshit, that he made that shit up and made it seem like that. So that's just what I was assuming.
Well, I figured that too in a way, but it never should have got there at all. It never should have gone there.
Right. Well, they needed a reason for humanity to turn against Superman.
Right. It's all plot driven to what Gunn wants to tell rather than what's true to the characters. And when you go against the truth of the characters, you've got bad writing. I don't care.
You're not a fan of Gunn to begin with.
Actually, I loved Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy for what it was. It's not. It may be Star-Lord and the Infinity Watch instead of the actual Guardians of the Galaxy, but it was fun to watch.
Right.
For what it was, and I didn't mind. Peacemaker was okay, and I actually wouldn't mind if he just stuck with Peacemaker. But no, I don't want to see his take on the main characters at all anymore after this. Oh my god! And the end where drunk Supergirl shows up, I'm like, what the heck is that? I mean, oof.
Well, it sounds like the entire Supergirl movie is going to be drunk Supergirl until Supergirl finally learns her lesson and blah 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 blah.
Well, it's supposed to be based off the Woman of Tomorrow miniseries, so it might be the first 20 minutes to half an hour of the movie anyway. But whatever. Anyway, you gave it a 4. I'm going to give it a 2. I could give it less, but the truth is, I have to be fair. And, in terms of technical design, the costuming, the designs of the robots for the Kryptonian robots, what they did with the Fortress of Solitude and how they did it so it buries itself in the ground. There were some good elements to this film. I'm not, it's not complete shit. But it's just not a film I like because of the elements I don't like.
So did you, when you first heard the line about the interdimensional imp, did you automatically think Mr. Mxyzptlk, or did you think something else?
I didn't even pay attention to that because I was looking at this fight and it looked like a version of Starro to me.
It was kind of, but yeah.
Yeah,
when he said imp, I'm like,
ah! Yeah. I didn't even think about it. To me, it was like that scene didn't even belong in the film. Because he doesn't need to be sitting there having a heart-to-heart with Lois while the Justice Gang is fighting something out. Oh, they've got that. Don't worry about that. I'm like, I just, I didn't care for that scene.
I thought Lois was a little bit too hard-assed in this movie.
Definitely kind of like a Mary Sue character in a way. I mean, Mr. Terrific is literally like the Reed Richards of the Black Reed Richards of the DC universe.
Right.
And yet she can fly his T-Mobile.
Well, he said it was intuitive.
Yeah. It's intuitive. Yeah, sure. Not that intuitive. Come on. But pre-order, I mean, you could do it like voice command, or whatever, but maybe, but I don't know. I just thought it was kind of weird. I didn't like what they did with Eve Tessmacher. I thought it was clever that he made it sort of smart enough to take selfies of everything and have all the information behind her. But that was sort of like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Aren't I clever to figure out a way to get Lex to give up his thing? I'm like, it's pretty contrived. And it didn't really play the character well. I thought Tessmacher should have been more like the badass bodyguard girl.
Okay.
And not really trusting the engineer and not really trusting others, but then, okay, he treats her like crap. And okay, well, if you're going to be that way, I'll get you for that, that I would have believed. But no, she's going to be head over heels over Jimmy Olsen.
Well, see, when a movie's just dumb enough, it does incredibly well. Like, it can't be too smart or it can't be too dumb. Like, when it's just dumb enough, then people love the movie. So that's, that's
what you're
why.
Saying it is. It's just dumb enough. Okay.
Yeah. Did you like Mr. Terrific? His portrayal in the movie?
Yes and no. The actor did well with what he was asked to do. I thought the character was not written well. I thought the character was written, kind of like, come on, man, what is this, type thing. A little bit
job turkey type stuff.
Yeah, at points. He should have been much more more centered than he was in some cases. And that last thing with where the building isn't quite fused. It has the crack up there. What do you want from me? Fix the world. What do you want from me? And he walks off kicking the rocks. I'm like, what? And Clark's like, yeah, I guess I was being kind of a jerk for her. That wasn't funny to me. That was just stupid. I would have rather he said, great job. We need to finish this work. Let's work together on this. And, show them working like he's fusing the side of the building with his laser vision or something. That would have been cool. That they're still working together or something. But to make a joke, they kind of just made him a joke throughout the film, and I was like, he's actually one of the better characters in the story. Well,
I mean, they think people thought he was a good enough character. They're making a standalone Mr. Terrific film.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I would have liked a little bit better hairstyle for him, but none of the hairstyles for the Justice Gang were that great. But they're going to make
bad hairstyles were like kind of the thing.
Yeah, and Hawk Girl didn't really get to do much of anything except scream.
Yeah, she was kind of useless.
Yeah, I didn't quite get that.
We have yet to see like the penultimate Shayera Hall.
Yeah,
on screen.
Right, and it's a shame, but we could have. Again, I gave it a 2. I don't know. I would have really. I think part of it was I was just so sick and tired of hearing how great the film was before the film ever came out, just because of the silly trailer. I'm like, you haven't even seen anything yet. Wait, and they're all like, no, man, this is awesome. This is awesome. I'm like, I'm watching it. I'm like, what's so awesome about this? I don't get it. I get that there's certain elements that you like, and you should like them. Like I said, I think Crypto steals the film for most of the case, for what it is. I just don't happen to care for the way Gunn presented it. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered what breed of dog that dog was. If they had done what that dog did in that film, it would have been fine.
Right.
Why not just, I get why he was just trying to do his own thing and show his dog more or less as the character. But I don't like that self-servitude out of a director to begin with.
Why did you do it? Because he can.
Right. Yeah. I just want to show my dog off, so even though it wasn't his dog.
James Gunn is the god of the DC universe now, so
Well, we don't know that yet. because who knows what's going to happen with the new buyer ownership.
Yeah, but they're blocking Netflix.
Yeah. So
They're trying to anyway.
yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. And then the Supergirl trailer was just released, and well, from what the official trailer is, it's not particularly great, but it's what we expected, basically.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm like, really excited to see drunk Supergirl, sloshing away around the universe.
Yeah.
But of course, as everyone's talking about Momoa's Lobo, like,
Yeah, right. The only thing was I had seen a different trailer. I'm not going to show it. That I thought was part of the official trailer, or a separate official trailer, and it wasn't. It was a fan trailer, and thank God it was a fan trailer, because the whole side of the face was, normal skin tone, about this far out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that's not how.
Yeah. So Lewis thought that they completely fucked up Lobo's makeup, and I'm like, no, man, no, it looks fantastic. And he's like, no, it looks like ass. I'm like, are we looking at the same thing?
Yeah. Once I found out that there was a fake trailer,
Yeah.
But so I'll reserve judgment until I actually see the actual movie on that. But because that trailer looked. Because the thing is, as dumb as this is or has been, I wouldn't have been surprised if they did decide that it was more like the Violator's face paint rather than his whole skin being white.
Right.
I just, I wouldn't put it past them. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It just, oof. But once I realized it was, a fake, okay. Let's just hope they get it right.
I hope so.
But next week, what we will do is probably we'll pick our 3 favorite Christmas-related movies.
Oh, okay.
Because next week will be the 19th, and after that, it'll be after Christmas. So we'll just, pick any 3 that you want to cite and talk briefly about. Okay?
Okay.
And
so we're not actually going to watch a movie, or?
No.
Okay.
I got too much to do next weekend.
All right.
I've got, hold on a minute. I'm trying to get to the right thing. We got
Did you freeze? Yep. I think you froze. Oh,
am I back?
You're back.
Okay. All right. Just a second.
The internet crap out?
Yeah, the internet crapped out. All right. As I was trying to say before the internet crapped out on us, was next weekend, our sponsor is Scratch and Spin, and I will be doing a Christmas sale event where I'm a guest artist and podcaster on December 20th. So all next week, I'm going to be doing a lot of artwork. Get ready for that.
Very cool.
So, and of course, we'll also have the Elvira cosplayer from PP Customs, and I will be dressing as Elvis Stitch, which is why John is going, because he has to be Elvis Stitch. And so that'll be our thing going on for that, and that's part of the reason why we're not going to watch a film next week.
Oh, okay.
But like I said, we'll do our 3 best selections of Christmas films. You can do Christmas horror if you want, Chris. It's okay.
Well, some of them are going to be.
Yeah, I figured as much. I don't mind. But anyway, I don't know if John will be joining us or not. Probably not. But we'll have at least 6 films to talk about that. So anyway, that's what we got for you, and I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully, I didn't completely chase you off the film. I mean, like I said, it just isn't for me. That's all.
My opinion is I would rather have blase superhero films than no superhero films at all. So
yeah, I guess I don't really need superhero films. I've got superhero comics to read, but whatever. Anyway, Lewis.BrightRaven at Facebook, at Twitter X at LewisBrightRave2. You can find my artwork at deviantart.com/BrightRaven. You can find Chris's art at deviantart.com/FatBoy73. We're watching Quoth the Raven, Lewis BrightRaven exclusively on YouTube. And email quothravenlbr72@gmail.com. I'll get back to you. It's that one. Try Lewis BrightRaven at yahoo.com. And Chris, you reach at ghthrowingstones@gmail.com. Plans for the weekend?
I have D&D tomorrow.
Okay. Is there anything going on with David? Or are you guys just waiting until next year?
No, we have some things in the plans, and so we're gonna have some podcasts coming up soon. So
okay, all righty.
And I'm gonna be making Christmas cookies on Sunday. Drinking eggnog, and
okay.
Sleigh bells ring. Are you listening?
You got your tree up already?
Yes, we do.
Well, maybe I'll get my tree up this weekend. I don't know yet.
Raven rants. Are you listening? He goes off. Man, he's pissing.
But that's over now. I'll take my bow.
Walking in a Raven wonderland.
All right, folks. That's enough, Chris. You silly boy. Have a good night, everyone. See you next time. Quoth the Raven. Nevermore.
Nevermore.